Okay guys, I have a new video for you right now. So while I was away with my husband, y'all know I look at like food stuff all the time. So I came across an Instagram. Her name is Janelle, I think I'm saying her name right, Janelle Roner. And I'll link her in here or below or something, okay? She made a chicken Caesar pasta salad for her lunch. She's a nurse, so she makes something that she could have all week where she can just pack it in her cooler thing and get going, okay? So this looked so good, and I was like, I'm so gonna make this for us Weight Watcher gals. So I'm so excited. I think I perfected it, but before I actually start making it and everything, I do want to show y'all how important it is. Like when you scan this bag of elbow noodles, what it will come up is 6 points for 2 ounces of dried noodles. There is no way to change if you cooked them, because when you do a half a cup, because that's what it is. The serving size is a half a cup, 2 ounces. When you cook that half a cup, they swell and they're going to be more than a half a cup in there, okay? So the reason I know this is because I did 1 whole cup. After I did the 1 cup, I measured it and it measured out 5 half cups out of 1 cup, okay? I know that's crazy. I'm not going to be able to show you that part, but let's reel it back a little bit. So when you look up elbow noodles, just like typing it in, you will see cooked elbow noodles, and at a half a cup, it's only 2 points, and that makes more sense. And if you look at the calories, that measures kind of out like that. So let's take it back a notch. So if you scan this and you went with the dried, because a half a cup is 6 points dried, if you halfen that, so if you halfen the halfen, if you understand what I'm saying, it's actually only 3 points is what it's saying, okay? So with the half a cup, if you only did half dried, then it's only 3 points, okay? So when I built the recipe, I went with the uncooked, a half a cup of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I went with cooked elbow noodles, a half a cup as 2 points. So let me pull this up on my iPad and I want to show y'all. Okay, I have the recipe up here in my Weight Watchers app, and I just want to show y'all what I have plugged in here. So I am going with a half a cup of lettuce, 2 ounces, which is about a half a cup of shredded. I'm doing dark and chicken breast mixed, okay? So I bought it already shredded from my local grocery store, and then I just cut it up in more smaller pieces, and I'll show you right over here. I just cut it up in smaller pieces, but it is dark meat and white meat mixed together. And right here on the app for 2 ounces of that is 0 points. Then we're going to use Parmesan cheese. We're going to do 1 tablespoon. We are going to be using the Bolthouse Farms creamy Caesar right here. This is what I bought. So we're going to be doing 3 tablespoons of that. And then you're going to have your half a cup of cooked elbow pasta, and it's 2 points. So I'm going to get out of this, and I just wanted to show you. I'm going to scan the bag of my dried noodles. Okay, sorry. I have to open this up to scan. Hopefully it will scan it. Okay, yes it did. Okay, I gotta close it back up. Sorry guys. I'm doing this one-handed right this moment. Okay, so the elbow noodles came up, and it gives you a half a cup is 6 points. But that is because it is your dried. So when it comes to a half a cup, you're gonna go back to this really quick. The serving size right here for dry, you see dry is a half a cup, and it's 200 calories. Well, you see where it gives you 200 calories and it says 6 points? that is not how much we're going to be using in these bowls that I'm going to be making. So that's why you have to be very cautious of that. And so there's no way for me to change this to cooked pasta. So that is why when you're building a recipe, when I do elbow noodle or elbow pasta, you see this first one says cooked elbow pasta. So when you use that, you're going to change that to a half a cup, take that down to 0. So a half a cup of cooked pasta is 2 points. Okay, so just be cautious of that. Let me turn you around. So for us Weight Watchers, just be cautious of that. That's why I'm breaking it down for you. Yes, it can be a little daunting, but you will learn that, okay? So just always keep an eye on like the calories that it's shooting out. And as you can see, that was only for dried pasta for 200 calories, 6 points for dried half a cup. But that's not how much we're putting in these bowls, okay? All right, so now let's get down to the recipe and let's start building it. Okay, I'm gonna move my iPad over here. I'm super excited about this. Now, I have these bowls that I have had for a long time, and you can put your stuff in whatever whatever container that you want to put it in, okay? So I have all the fixings here, and you want the noodles to be cold. So my suggestion is, if you know you're gonna make this like the next day, make it that night, put it in a Ziploc baggie, put it in the refrigerator. I did cook them today. I waited, I drained them, I put them in the refrigerator, so I waited, they're nice and cooled down, okay? So my noodles are ready, and again, this was 1 cup dried noodles. 1 cup dried noodles to make this recipe, okay? Recipe will be up in the captions, but 1 cup dried to make this, to go into 5 bowls, and you will see how that is done. The chicken breast, I don't know how much I began with. I was a little worried, but I know that I'm gonna have enough. I actually threw away the box that it came in, I'm sorry. So I don't know how much you're gonna need. I bought a small container, so if my guess is maybe a pound that was in a small container, or maybe it was less than that, I don't know, I'm sorry. But I chopped those up. Lettuce, okay? I don't know how much was in here. I just used it out of like the tub. So you're just gonna chop up some lettuce, and you're gonna need the Bolthouse Farms Caesar, creamy Caesar, and then you'll need some Parmesan cheese. I don't know if I have completely enough for a tablespoon for each one, but we will see. Okay guys, so let's start assembling these 5 bowls. This will make lunch for all week long, so that's really good. So let's do this, okay? So we're gonna do a half a cup of noodles into each one. So we're gonna do that. Noodle. So that's a half a cup into each one, and that's plenty for lunchtime. Now, there's still a little bit left. Actually, there's a whole nother half a cup left. See, that's what I'm saying. That was a 1 whole cup of noodles cooked, and I could actually make 6 servings out of that. So that's why these are only 2 points for a half a cup of for cooked pasta. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go with the chicken. We're gonna do a half a cup. And chicken is 0, so since I still have just a little bit left, I'm just gonna kind of even out. You want more protein in your food anyway, so we're just gonna even that out into each one. Okay, there we go. So that was a half a cup of that. Then we're gonna do lettuce. Let's just go ahead and go with I did put a half a cup in there. So we're gonna do a half a cup of lettuce. We're gonna generously just putting that half a cup in there, okay? Half a cup of lettuce. And I'm gonna finish out just a little bit that I had into each one. Okay, so that finishes that. Now, we're gonna go with 3 tablespoons of the Caesar salad, okay? Of the Caesar dressing or whatever. Now, what she does is she she waters it down a little bit. So let's do this first one like she does. So if you were to watch her reel that I watched, I'm sorry guys that the dogs are barking. So 1 tablespoon, and then I'm gonna do another tablespoon. I think she might only use 2. So if you do, that would actually save you, I think, a point. But I'm gonna use 3, and she waters it down just a little bit. Here, I'm just gonna get me like just to stay right here. Well, I thought I had water. Yes, I do. I do have water. So I'm just gonna pour just a little bit. Water it down just a little bit. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Tatum is, I think, making them bark. So you're just gonna kind of mix that up. I hope you saw that. And it doesn't make it like, you know, less creamy or anything like that. It was just a little bit. And then you pour that in there. And now you're gonna get that nice and mixed up. And then of course you're going, and somebody's gonna say, well, should you wait to add the dressing until you're gonna eat it that day? You do you, okay? That's how I think. But to me, I would want it mixed for the sauce to kind of like marinate with all of that and be in the refrigerator. I think it would be good to just go ahead and get it mixed. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste this because I'm so excited about it. So good. Okay, we're gonna finish out doing the 3 tablespoons into each one with just a little bit of water, and I'm gonna finish doing that. Now that I'm done with all of that, the only thing that I did forget, even though I tasted this, and you don't even have to add this part, it's 1 point for 1 tablespoon of Parmesan cheese, but it's good just like this. So it's up to you on this, but she did Parmesan cheese, so we're gonna do 1 tablespoon of Parmesan cheese into each one. I don't have enough to probably do all of them, so I'm gonna kind of start lessening right now. There we go, and I have just enough to finish out that bag. Okay, so now you're just gonna mix that around. I think I lost my spoon there. So we're just gonna mix that around. And I'm gonna put the lids on the other ones. And again, I'm gonna taste this again. So good. So now the rest of these will go into the refrigerator and be ready to go for the rest of the week for lunch. I hope y'all enjoyed this. So go make you some chicken Caesar pasta salad. All right, guys, bye.